Let me start by asking you what you make of these and how does it affect Nigeria?
Well, it will have so many effects on Nigeria, not only even as far as the energy or crude oil market is concerned. Generally, when there is conflict, regardless of the nature of the conflict, while casualty is being recorded on one side, you will have people that I can technically call merchants making good money on the other side. If you look at even when you talk about war conflicts, but talking about recently, I mean, when Iran was having problems with the US, we knew that there was tension. While Iran was going through sanctions, some countries were making good money from crude oil sales. When Saddam Hussein and Iraq were having tensions and issues, when Libya and NATO were having issues, some countries were making good money because disruptions were taking place, especially in the area of crude oil and gas.
That's right.
It's the same thing even around the time we were having the rascality of Boko Haram and even with the ongoing ISWAP in different parts of the world. While countries are recording human carnage or calamities, there are some merchants who are into arms that are making cool money. But generally, we know that, for us to enjoy the world, we need global peace. And global peace is always the best. So back to our subject of discussion. What is happening definitely is going to cause disruptions, or it is already causing disruptions. And it is causing disruptions principally in the areas of energy. Like all of us know, Russia is a non-OPEC member country, but Russia also has some countries that are non-OPEC members that she leads. So while you have OPEC on one side with the cartel of OPEC and member countries, you also have Russia on one side. Remember, Russia is a very strong global energy giant, principally in gas. And based on what is happening, with all the threats, definitely there will be disruption to the general flow. And when there is disruption, some countries, like I said, you talk technically called merchants, are supposed to make good money. So in the case of Nigeria, if Nigeria were to be strategically placed, or if Nigeria had followed her own vision of the trans-Saharan gas pipeline, Nigeria probably will be the destination to look up to or to look towards to supply the gas to Europe, especially now that there is a soil relationship between Russia and the Western world.
So what you're saying is that even though we're having a surge in the prices of crude, it's not something we should celebrate much, or it's not something the country is going to gain from much?
Generally, as far as I'm concerned, people who have been following me in the last probably 15 to 20 years know that I have always said Nigeria is or has been on the wrong economic trajectory as far as the downstream sector of the oil and gas is concerned. And what Nigeria is experiencing is self-inflicted. But because of what is even going on now, the standoff between NATO, Russia, and Ukraine, we can see that it has also opened up other areas that at best will throw condemnation for Nigeria. And let me say also one or two of those areas. Look at the number of Nigerians that are stranded in Ukraine and some parts of the Eastern Bloc. If we were to have functional education, will those Nigerians be stranded there? And who knows how many Nigerians we are going to lose? Because as we speak now, it is not looking clear that the hostilities will come up, will be ended soon. So we have Nigerians stranded. They are our students or our children. Then we have parents here having sleepless nights, who are confused. Do we know how many parents may die due to psychological pains or lack of peace? That is a subject to look at. Ordinarily, if we were to have quality education in Nigeria, all those students will be here. Their parents wouldn't have been spending so much money. They will have also conserved foreign exchange. So when you look at it, even from that end, Nigeria is losing. Then back to the energy system. I mean, ordinarily, one will expect that Nigeria should be scooping so much. But because the system of the downstream operation of Nigeria is into a relationship of direct sale, direct purchase. Nigeria is not having functional refineries. And because even the Petroleum Industry Act encourages importation, encourages deregulation, this is the kind of experience a country of 200 million citizens that will be relying on less than 10,000 megawatts of electricity will experience. As I'm speaking to you, as of today, a liter of diesel is about 450 naira. I'm just imagining how much liter of diesel your studio will be expending to be able to break even, apart from maintaining the generators. That's what we are experiencing. And just imagine a population of 200 million citizens relying on the importation of refined petroleum products. Now that we have these hostilities now, even vessel movements are being disrupted. Tell me what will happen to Nigeria. Nigeria is reduced to a melancholy country because everybody is in a state of panic. There is no electricity, there is no petrol, there is no diesel, and even if we want to, even the vessels that are on the high seas now, trying to bring petroleum products are under threat.
Yes, but let me quickly come in here. You don't think, because some people say once the prices of crude goes up in the international market, yes, you've hindered some other challenges or other companies' challenges that we're facing in this regard. But some people have said if the petrol price or crude oil price goes up in the international market, and if you look at the gains, what you have set in the benchmark was set in the 22 budget, that the money we're going to make on oil revenue target, I mean, of course, we should be smiling home by now. You don't believe in that concept of economics that will add up in terms of our oil revenue target this time?
No, I believe if other aspects of the economic model were okay. Because what is happening is we are collecting good revenues with the right hand and we are losing money using the left hand. And this is the way I want to explain it. Yes, the 2022 budget, if I still have my records right, is predicated on a liter of barrel of at $62 per barrel. But then when you look at what the Brent is selling now, because the Brent is the marker for the Nigerian Bonny Light, it is selling above $100 per barrel, which is good for Nigeria. But have you forgotten that Nigeria also does not have electricity? Nigeria is relying on importation of petrol, diesel, kerosene, aviation fuel. So one way or the other, to be able to provide those products also, Nigeria will still be losing money on the other side. And that was why I said you get revenue with the right hand side, with the right hand, and you are losing it using the left hand. If it were to be some Asian countries, as I speak to you, they will be refining internally. Recently, we heard about the aviation sector trying to increase airfares by 100%, and nobody could challenge them. Why? They attributed it to lack of aviation fuel. In fact, we heard that even the helicopter or the aircraft that crashed around maybe some years, a year or two ago, after the investigation came out, we learned that one of the problems they had was because there was no enough aviation fuel on the aircraft. So I agree with case, when we do the theoretical analysis for our benchmark to breach the 2022 budget deficit gap, yes, we are supposed to get revenue. But what are we doing internally to make sure when we get these revenues using the right side or right hand, we are not losing it through the left hand? And the only way is to internally process our crude oil. And don't forget, as we also speak today, there is no electricity. Even today, as I speak to you in Nigeria, many of the strategic domestic sectors, strategic industrial sectors, and strategic domestic commercial sectors are groaning.
Let's look at, just before I let you go.
I had even young boys with jerry cans saying,
Point taken.
has it been there is electricity, they will not be there.
Point taken, Mr. Zaka. Point taken there. But let's look at this. You talked about the fact that there are a few crises. There's still shortage in the supply of petrol earlier. There are also strong indications that the ongoing fuel scarcity may be prolonged further due to the Russian-Ukraine war as a result of the deficit in the supply. Especially the cargoes who are supposed to arrive in Nigeria being delayed. So what difference would this make? Do you think this will make any difference?
No, as far as I'm concerned, it is further exposing Nigeria as a shameless country and a country that is not organized, just like the way I gave the example of so many thousands of Nigerian citizens schooling in Ukraine, and they are now trapped, and their parents now are having all kinds of temperature, blood pressure high. In the case of all these conflicts now, and because of these conflicts now, because of Russia, NATO, Ukraine, all vessels that are moving on international waters are being closely monitored, and their movement are generally restricted. So what I'm saying is, had this been we were refining internally, this will not be this will not be part of our concern. We will be having sufficiency, and we will still be selling our crude oil to the international market.
Let's wrap up with this one. You talk about the fact that there are students who are, going through some crisis now or being affected now. How do we manage the crisis? I mean, the government has said they were going to, get into negotiations with the Ukrainian government and Russian government to get these students to safety. But how do you think we can manage this situation now? Because it's like we're caught in between these two countries.
To be honest with you, it is beyond Nigeria as a country. What is happening is a general threat to the global or planet Earth peace. So the problem can only, or the issues can only be resolved at the level of United Nations. The only thing I believe, or I hope, or pray for is probably Nigeria will also make her contributions at that level. But it is a lesson to Nigerian leaders that as long as they refuse to fix the country, even the few that have some money to send their children, by the time they are threatened, everybody will come back to the same Nigeria. And for some of those political leaders, they may be there for 7 years, for 4 years, for 10 years, for 12 years. But if they don't fix things, after their political tenure or sojourn, they will come back, and all of us will be in the same rut. Some of us pray that it shouldn't get to that extent, but they better happen, because the practical experiences of fuel shortage, stranded Nigeria, lack of health, and other social amenities are facing everybody on the field.